Good afternoon. Jack was awesome. My name is Dune Lankard. I'm an EAC Athabaskan from the Copper River Delta in Prince William Sound in Alaska. I'm from the Eagle clan. My name is Jamutsiki, which means a little bird that screams really loud and won't shut up. And they're only giving me 5 minutes, so I had to write some of these things down. My people migrated out of the interior of Alaska 3,500 years ago to settle on the coast near Cordova. Before I begin, I'd like to thank Kenny and Nina and Kelly and all the Bioneers family for putting on this amazing event every year, because this happened right around the time of the Exxon Valdez oil spill. And so this is really important that we're able to get together and see each other face to face each year. And I'd like to say hello to my friends in Alaska and in Seattle, here in Boston, and all of you out there in Bioneer land. As many of you know, the Exxon Valdez oil spill happened in my backyard. And everything changed from that point on for me and for the region. Unfortunately, it took the nation's worst oil spill to wake me up. And just recently, hopefully some of you woke up when you saw that the settlement from the US Supreme Court was only $500 million. And that $500 million is equivalent to about $15,000 per plaintiff, which is a disgrace. It's unfair, it's unjust, and it's proof that the oil companies, not only will they not develop the lands environmentally safe or sound, but they won't take care of their messes when they make them, such as the Exxon Valdez. Exxon came in and promised that they would make us whole again, that they would make it right with all of us. That never happened. So, you know, like a lot of us, we can't believe what government and the oil companies say. The EAC people, we live on the opposite end of the same pipeline that runs 800 miles from Inupiat and Gwich'in land, which is to the north. We are living proof of what can go wrong. When the Exxon oil spill happened and the settlement for $500 million was given to the plaintiffs in the spill zone to destroy our land, there is not enough compensation in the world that can replace our wild salmon. And so for the Gwich'in, the caribou is their way of life. Nothing can replace that. As long as those animals and those salmon are thriving, then our way of life continues. In 1991, I met Sara James and was invited to the Arctic Village to attend a Gwich'in gathering. And upon arriving, the chief at the time, Trimble Gilbert, welcomed me home after 3,500 years. And I thought that was, you know, as Athabaskan to Athabaskan, you know, I felt that was pretty amazing that he remembered me. It was the Exxon spill that brought us back together again, though. We were fortunate to have the Gwich'in people and people like Sara James living in the Arctic Refuge. It is one of the reasons that this place is still alive. It's a reason it's still thriving. And it's a place where we still have a chance to get it right. Together, we need to see that this place is forever protected, and the Gwich'in way of life is protected. Because it's about the people, it's about the land, it's about being good stewards. It's about doing everything we can to save the last of the wild places. I have the honor, the absolute honor, of introducing my friend, one of my heroes, one of my mentors, and a dear friend who just happens to be on my Native Conservancy Land Trust Board, too. Sara has won the Alston Bannership Fellowship, the Ford Foundation's Leadership for a Changing World Award, a Goldman Environmental Prize with 2 other Gwich'in leaders, the National Conservation Land Trust Award, numerous awards for Indigenous leadership, and she's also won the Celia Hunter Award. She was one of the gals who helped save 108 million acres in Alaska through the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act in 1980. And then recently, Sara won another award. It was like one of Alaska's Women of the Century or something like that, which is only fitting for Sara. So as a dear friend of mine and someone who has really helped me learn the ropes of activism and do the work that we need to do to save the last of the wild places, I'd like to ask you to give your attention and a huge round of applause to one of the most amazing and courageous women on the planet that I've had the honor of knowing and working with, Sara James. We love you, Sara.
How are you, Skinkeisha?
Thank you.
Ni hit goes on train chill, ni hit goes on heta, ni hit goes on heta, I go I, tiki, the trainen, the chancha, ein chutren dia del kikwa, trainen taibakuli kwa, chancha, nai jakel kikwa, nai enchaquinto, karen he. Chinang kat wingsi kurhech genchit. We came a long ways, we're going to go a long ways together yet. For our children that's not born today yet, and for our elders that's not here today with us. Bear the time with me because English is my second language, Gwich'in. I think Gwich'in, and I try to put it in English, and sometimes hard. Thank you, God. First of all, I thank God today for today. Thank you to the first people of this land. I get to speak on your land. Thank you to the people that made it possible for me to be here today and speak here in this wonderful auditorium. Thank you, Dune, my friend Dune. There's so much good words I want to say about him is beyond me. To my relatives and my family, especially my special needs son, Mark, beautiful son, and many friends and relatives that put up with me from being away. Thank you to the Bioneers celebrating 20 years of breakthrough solution. The title just fits just right for me. Traditionally, for all nations, it's popular to introduce yourself in your traditional way. Sara James Olshi, Arctic Village, Washank Ogan Isha, Shiti Isaiah James Oshi, Shahan, Martha James Oshi, Shitsu, Agnes James Oshi, and Shitsi, Birch Creek James Oshi, Shitsu, Sarah Trit Oshi, Shitsi, Reverend Albert E. Trit Oshi. Shiti, Lukchot Andeva, Shahan, what's Andeva. I say, my father's name is Isaiah James, his father's name is Birch Creek James. My mother's name is Martha James, her father's name is Albert E. Tritt. And on both of my grandma on my father's side is Agnes James, and my mother's side, grandma is Sara James. So I got both of the names, Sara Agnes James. I'm proud to have both of my grandma's name. I came from Arctic Village, which is located 110 miles northeast of Arctic Circle. It's a very small village, about 150 to 80 people sometimes live there, very isolated. We don't have running water, but we do have a running water, which is river, natural river. We live in log cabins. We used to live in a caribou skin hut when we were nomadic people, but now we have to live in a two world. Our children, we have to teach them how to respect your elder and go out to the land and learn about the land. At the same time, we tell them, go out and get your higher education so you'll live in this world. So we live in a two world. That's the way it is. Back in 1988, the elders and the leaders and the children got concerned because the oil company were saying they're going to open up for gas and oil development of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, and were not included. So the elders called the gather together, just like they did back in 150 years ago. A Canadian-U.S. border had been separating us. There's 15 villages of Gwich'in village throughout the whole Gwich'in Nation, U.S. and Canada side. We're one nation of people, one caribou, who is porcupine caribou. We're all related. We all speak Gwich'in. And that's who we are. We are caribou people. So they called the gather together and set a rules and give a talking stick. That's how we did our meeting before. The elders came forward and said, we got to protect the birthplace of the porcupine caribou, where we call Gwich'in Elder. That means sacred place where the life began. Not only for the Gwich'in, not only for the caribou, but for many life forms there. The birds, 150 different species of birds fly from all over the world. There's a bird that flies from Antarctic to Arctic Refuge and nests there. There's a bird that comes all the way from Argentina, Africa. At least there's one from every state that we can identify that go up there every year to nest. So they came and called the nation back together. It was like a rebirth of the nation. The elders took over the meeting. They threw away the written agenda, and they gave us talking stick to talk with. We have to talk for the stick. We have to talk in our language, our original ways. They said the elders, the leaders got all concerned, said, this is very good because the world needs to know about it. But the elders said no papers, no note-taking. So the 15 chief from Canada and U.S., Gwich'in chief, went on the side of the meeting and behind somebody's house and wrote a resolution to protect the birthplace of the porcupine caribou, the coastal plain of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, to protect the birthplace of the porcupine river caribou and the Gwich'in way of life and for many other life forms. It was really hard decision for the elders because that means we got to tell our story. That means we're going to expose ourselves to the world to tell the story. So they gave us direction. They formed a Gwich'in steering committee to voice that resolution, that one resolution. It was ratified by 15 chiefs and the elders there. The chief had to kind of convince them. And this is the way to do it. It has to be in black and white in order for us to tell our story. That's the world we live in. And they did. And they chose 4 from Canada and 4 from US to represent the Gwich'in Nation. The elders gave us direction, do it in a good way. Teach these people why we say no to oil and no compromise. That was our direction. A sacred place where the life began. That's where I came from. There are fish, there are whales, there's polar bears, there's 3 species of bears that's in that area. Polar bear, black bear, brown bears. Only place in the world. There's eagle there. There's white fox there, Arctic fox, wolves, wolverine, white owl, special vegetation to keep these birthplace very healthy, to nurse their young. The wolves and the grizzly nursing their young up in the foothills and caribou down here, and the fish spawn over here, and polar bear denning in wintertime. That's when they have their calf. If the tractor come in, there's no way they would know because it's under the snow. That's how dangerous it would be. We are caribou people, just like the buffalo is to the Plains Indians. We cannot do it ourselves, that we know that. So we went to the media and educate them. Went to the environmentalists, came in right away. But we can't go that route because this is a human rights issue to us. There's a public interest right for recreation reason, for that, but us is who we are, human rights. At that time when they came together in Arctic Village, June 5 to 10, 1988, one of the Gwich'in leader from Canada, Norma Cassie, she warned those people about the global warming, climate change. That was others' reason they made that decision. We know we're going to have people's traffic. We know people's going to come and study, and which is happening. Those are threat too. At that time, it's already happening. They noticed that. As an indigenous people, we look at the sun, and we respect the sun. Ever since I can remember, my elder tell me, always look at the sun. Check with the sun, check with the air, check with the sky. If something happened, that means we have to go back to take care of our earth. None mean land, none mean earth, none mean planet or world. Global warming, climate change is real. I think we are doomed. Some say God will help us, but it's not only up to the God. We have to meet God halfway too. Each of us had to make that transition. By the 4 R's, I call it: recycle, reduce, reuse, and refuse. Get away from oil. Turn to alternative energy, solar, wind, small hydro, other than oil, anything other than oil. Respect the fire, respect the sun. That doesn't mean you're going to own the sun. That doesn't mean you're going to be the sun lord. Look and see what oil is doing to us. In Alaska, villages are eroding away. A lot of eroding throughout Alaska. This year, last 20 years, worst firefight that there was all summer long was Smoky. Animal confused, displaced, lost, hungry. One of the things that we, as Indigenous people, we have respect for life, and we use them in a good way as a God give it to us, and we gave thanks. And we use everything on caribou. Caribou is our life, it's our tools. There's a tool for tanning in Ottawa Museum, might be dated back to 30,000, that we still use. It's our clothing, it's our food. 75% of our food is still wild meat. And it's our shelter. We used to live in it. So everything, we do caribou dance, caribou song, we do caribou story. Caribou is everything to us. It makes us who we are. One thing that elders always warn us to have respect. Shooting wolf from the airplane, gotta stop. People say, we are the one that's gonna have to pay doing that to the animal. We are the one that's gonna pay the consequences, and that's what they think is happening. So respect each other, respect life. We cannot have peace without clean air, clean water, clean land, clean life. Then we'll have peace. War is out of my list. Climate change is human rights against the human rights. Each and every one of us have that rights. Call on the churches, they can address human rights. Other interested groups, women, we need you. Men too, we have to. Life is done by two, nothing more. Well, anyway, like we're talking about the birthplace, a sacred place where the life began. Today, I thank my father for being here. If it wasn't for my father, I probably won't be here. My father is a salmon nation along the Yukon. In Alaska, we got the biggest problem with people not getting in their salmon this year. That's pretty sad along the Yukon. There's 60 villages or more depending on that salmon, and they're not getting it. Call on the environmentalists, Congress, our government, tribal government. They're pretty huge. They're first here and did well. But right now in Alaska, what is the biggest jeopardize in Alaska is subsistent way of life. All these corporations, native corporation, other corporation want to develop everything in Alaska. That's how they passed the Alaska Native Land Claim Settlement Act back in 1970. There is threat to the food security in Alaska, and it is in the UN agenda. There is no company in this world, insurance company in this world will stop the climate change. They're the one that got us into this economic crisis. So action is very important. 24th of October, coming up pretty soon. International Day on Climate Change Action, 350.org. We need 9 people to do that throughout the world. It only needs 9 people. We need to make this permanent stop to this climate change. We need to make Arctic National Wildlife Refuge a wilderness, a permanent protection. We need to send that message to the world. We did our 20-year anniversary, just like what we're doing today in Arctic Village, May 29, 30, and June 1st and 2nd. We did an aerial art. We had 300 people save the Arctic with the caribou in the front. If little Arctic Village can do that, anybody can do that. People like 8,000 people, there's more than maybe half of that here already, but there's 8,000 people are Gwich'in. If we can do this much, just see what we can do together. And very little money, with 1 staff, 2 staff, that's it. I just want to say I'm proud to be Gwich'in. For you, just be proud to be who you are. To do that, because it is the right thing to do, be proud of it. With that, I'm going to sing a song called That means caribou skin hut dance. We sing as Indigenous people to keep the earth healthy, to keep the nation healthy, to keep everything healthy. It's a prayer. Caribou skin hut dance. I'll be book signing Saturday at the bookshop, and I have another. Whatever I missed out, I'm going to cover at 2:45 at the Indigenous with Landis Life panel. Which, on behalf of Gwich'in, I want to thank everybody. All my relation, that's all I can say, and may God bless you. Whoa, kind of humid around here. Too humid for me. Too humid for my drum. Earlier when I said, "Are you screen kije?" That means backstage it told me, "This is your home. Make yourself at home. Make yourself at home on the stage. Be comfortable." I am. This bird we call in our area, we call it Ayush Grinkije. This bird is saying, "This is my church, Ayush Grinkije." It's a little bird. And he sings like that every spring. I hear it. I heard it last year, and I hear it this year. I want to hear it forever. Ayush Grinkije, Ayush Grinkije. Okay, caribou skin hut dance. Ayush Grinkije could be, "This is my home. Ayushkrinkisha could be, this is my world. Ayushkrinkisha could be Sanan, my land. Hey, hey, ho, hey, hey. Hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. He, hey, ho, hey, 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 ho, hey, 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 ho, hey, ho, hey, 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 ho, hey, 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 ho, hey, 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 ho, hey, ho, hey, 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 Ayushkrinkisha. Thank you. My drum is flat.